How have you been doing? I'm wondering, let me actually okay, that's still on there. That's perfect. I'm pulling up Twitch just so I can see the chat. Are we live in the app as well? Okay. No, you're fine. I just wanted to hello, hello. Welcome in. I hope you're well. Tripping possum. That's fun. That's very exciting. I will be running a character creation workshop for Dungeons and Dragons. We are starting Tabletop Tuesday every single Tuesday. Let me know if at any point you can't see my stream because I know sometimes I don't have Nitro, so sometimes Discord is doesn't let me share my screen that much. But we're running Tabletop Tuesdays every single Tuesday, and this entire month, all throughout the end of April, we'll be running Dungeons and Dragons. So this week is a character creation, along with a little bit of D&D 101. And then next week is a DM workshop to kind of run through what it takes being a dungeon master if anyone wants to get into that. And then the following week, we're going to start running one-shots, and then eventually we're going to start up a campaign. And hopefully the characters that you make during this workshop, you can use them during the campaign, the one-shots, all of that fun things. Tripping Possum, are you here to just watch, hang out, and chat, or would you like to make a character as well?
Oh, I'm quite excited to make characters because I'd like to hopefully play along or possibly at some point run some games. I have my digital stuff on a different platform beyond.
Oh,
What?
it's totally okay.
Okay. So, and is it like any printed D&D supplement is in, or what expansions are good for this community?
Right now, I think we're starting with just typical 5e. Before, like not doing too many expansions. We're just doing the base level 5e. I think eventually I would like to move in to do some like work on expansions and kind of make themed events because I've run a couple of like cyberpunk and One Piece themed sessions. But for now, just so everyone's kind of on the same page and we kind of work together, all of the campaigns and one shots, at least for all of the Tabletop Tuesdays for this week, and then all throughout the end of April, will all be focused around just your baseline 5e. So that's why I dropped in the TTP RPG resources, just a typical 5e character sheet if you want to just like look at the basis, and then just a species list as well as a class description list. You don't have to use those if you use your own platform. That is totally fine. I also dropped in a Google Drive with just some fun printable character sheets that have just like some patterns on them. I'm going to be making mine online. I prefer using a physical character sheet just because I like printing and drawing and like adding fun little details. But for the sake of the workshop and so everyone can see on stream easily and I'm not like worried about camera angles and stuff like that, I will be making it online. But like I said, if you use your own preference, feel free to do that. I will also, for those of you watching over on Twitch and over on our platform, I will be taking in audience suggestions while I'm forming my own character sheet. So I'm here to help you guys if you have any questions or want me to dive into anything as else. But as I'm making my character, I'm going to let you guys pick my class, my role, all of that fun stuff. So it's kind of a team building effort, if that sounds good. And hello, Quan. Welcome. I'm gonna give. Do any of you guys have any previous experience with character building or D&D specifically the fifth edition? Just because the fifth edition is just the one that I'm more used to running. But do you guys have any questions with that? I can go over anything. If not, I can just kind of do an overview of like D&D, what's it about, the typical tools you need, and then kind of go into the different sheets that I dropped into the resources page.
Yeah, I'm pretty new with D&D, so if you could go over some of the basics.
Yes, of course. So I know you jumped in very recently, but I dropped in the chat channel for this, the resources, just a couple of links. I have them up here. The classes and the species. If I change tabs, can you see? Oh my gosh, yes, you can. The species list, and then also just like some fun character sheets. So D&D, this is kind of what a typical character sheet looks like. So you have one side with just most of your traits, your armor class. Basically, when you play through a game, this is going to be your character's main stats on like. I can't highlight. Oh yeah, I can. Just on this side of the page. Oh no, that went away. And then if you typically, I like this isn't super duper necessary, but for me, when I play D&D, I really like role playing, kind of fleshing out a character full round. Because I know like the point of Dungeons and Dragons is to have fun with it, to kind of get really immersed. For those of you who are watching who don't know too much about Dungeons and Dragons, it's a huge role playing game. So it's a lot of just like getting fully immersed, kind of becoming one with your character. And so this is where you have the personality traits, the ideals, the bonds. If you're in a party and you want to like create some bonds with other party members, whether that's kind of like a prequel to the session, if you wanted to create a backstory where a couple of them met, or as you play throughout your campaign, anything that's created, you all add that here in the character backstory. I love adding as much detail as possible because I feel like it just truly gives life to characters. And then this is, it looks overwhelming with all of these, but these are spell slots. So typically, if you play with any sort of magical character, like a bard, cleric, druid, like anything that uses magic, you will have spell slots. So you have baseline spells. If any of you guys, when we create characters, if any of you guys are picking a character that uses magic, I will kind of go into that more to help you create those. But you have cantrips, which are your base level spells. So those basically they don't take up a spell slot, and you can like throw those out at any time. So a common cantrip is just like giant hand. So like let's say you wanted, I don't know if anyone here has seen Vox Machina. It's on Amazon Prime. If you guys haven't, I recommend it. It is such a fun show. Roll20, or sorry, not Roll20, Critical Role is like a kind of a popular D&D group. They have a podcast and they have a YouTube channel, but Vox Machina is based off of one of their campaigns that they've been running. So it's super fun, and I like seeing D&D campaigns like come to life. But the reason why I brought that up is because one of the characters is he's a bard, and he uses his cantrip a lot, which I think is very fun and very funny. But I can dive into that later. But just the basis of D&D, I prefer playing in person because I feel like you can definitely grasp your community better, grasp your party, and just really get into it. But a lot of my friends who play D&D have all moved away to different parts of the world, so we usually play online. And during our DM session next week, I will go more into the different sites like Owlbear, Rodeo, and Roll20, which are some of the sites that we use to play D&D virtually on, because that's super fun. And you can kind of create your own maps. You can create your own layouts. I ran a one-shot in here, and I used Owlbear Rodeo before. I think, Sarah, you were actually in that one-shot, so I hope you had fun with that. But some baselines that you need for D&D, if you want to play it in person, you definitely need a fun and funky set of dice. Otherwise, if you play it online, you just need yourself. I like using D&D Beyond because it's a free site. You have a character builder. This is what we're going to be using. I named my character Fifi, but I haven't done anything else because I wanted you guys to build your character along with me and help me choose and kind of create your own character as well as help me create my own character. But yeah, D&D, you typically follow a different storyline, and there's different you're going to hear me using the term like party, campaign, session, one shot a lot. So a one shot, for those of you who are brand new to D&D, a one shot is exactly what it sounds like. It's you block off a period of time and you basically go through an entire adventure, quest, whatever you would like to call it, in one sitting. So usually it takes around a few hours. When we get playing into D&D, if we actually do campaigns, typically campaigns, we try to keep it within like 2-3 hours, and it's over like the course of a couple of weeks, a couple of months, depending on how long the campaign actually is. So a campaign is a long-term, multiple day progression storyline. A one shot is just a one and done. That's usually it takes a few hours. And then your party is your group, whoever you're playing with. Those are going to be your party members. Think of them as just like your adventure group, your guild. They can go by different names. I like using party members because I think it's very, very fun. And there's different types of adventure quests that you can go on. The one shot that I ran recently was a heist. So that one is more storyline based. That gave room for a lot of like speaking, not so much fighting, but more so critical thinking, kind of getting into that acting, like role-playing role. And then some of the other quests are also more fighting based. So that could be, instead of like a heist where it's sneaky, quick thinking, it could definitely be a lot more fighting focused. So you want to create like a tankier character or a stronger character that's more suitable for long range attacks rather than sneaking around. But basically, it's your turn to create whatever character you want. I don't want to give away any ideals of our any ideas of what the future campaigns are going to look like, because I want you guys to create a character that feels special to you, especially if this is your first character, because your first character is always like the most important one. So Quan, I know you joined a little bit later than Tripping Possum, but I dropped in the chat some resources. So there's the character. Actually, can you guys hear me? I just got a message saying that the audio is a little strange.
I can hear you quite well.
Oh, okay.
You're on Discord, but not on the platform.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Is anyone okay? Well, I'll continue going. Hopefully, we can get the audio fixed. We're gonna do some exciting stuff and dive into this. This is just like a brief lesson, just for those of you who are listening that don't know much about D&D. I promise I'll get through like the boring stuff first, then we can get to the fun character creation. SC, if you're listening, could you do me a favor and check to see if we can fix the audio on the platform? Because I would like people to be able to hear. But like I said, I dropped in resources. So what we have is the D&D Beyond virtual character sheet. So that's what the page that you're currently looking at, that's where I'm going to be creating the character, so it's easier for everyone to see. Of course, if you want to use your own platforms, you're more than welcome to. And then I also did a class guide and a species guide. So I'm going to go back to this sheet so you actually see, because the character builder right here goes page by page and you can't really see the overall view of kind of what I'm talking about. Actually, let me go to a more zoomed in. Yay. Okay. So up at the top right here, if I can highlight this, I don't know if I can. We'll see. You see class level, background, your player name, your race, alignment, and your experience points. So if you want to follow along, does anyone need to print out a character sheet, or are you guys going to do this online?
I'll probably do it online.
Okay, so if you're doing it online, then you can follow along with me when I go through this, but I'm going to give you guys a quick run through of kind of, we're starting with class. So if for those of you at home, if you're printing this out or you have a character sheet that looks like this, we're going to start with class, race, background alignment. If you guys already want to get started in doing, and like you've already read through the different species, the different classes, feel free to go ahead. Otherwise, I'm going to start here with the different classes. So we have Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. There's going to be more detail on classes through here if you want to get a better idea of, like, if you're curious about what a Barbarian really is or, like, what a Bard can do. That's why the sheet was really good, just to kind of give you guys a detail. I typically go for a rogue, like assassin type, because I like being sneaky and kind of chaotic when I play D&D. I've done a warlock before, and I've done a wizard character. Those are a lot of fun. I just sometimes get overwhelmed with spell slots. Because if I'm like in the height of a game and I'm trying to think of like, oh, should I switch out one of my big spells during a long rest? Sometimes I get overwhelmed, but that's just me. If you're really used to playing a lot of magical characters, go for it, because they're really strong and you can be a lot more creative with them. My wizard, his name was Bufo, and he was a fish person, and he secreted like this super sticky slime from his body, and I thought that was very fun. And his favorite cantrip was summon chair, and he could just summon like a little spinning bar stool wherever he went. And I thought that was very, very silly. But I think what was that?
Just wanted to say that's amazing. I love it. I like the little stories that come out of a
Yeah,
session.
that sounds so cute. Do you have any suggestion for like class that would be easy for a beginner?
Yeah, actually a lot of these classes, pretty much any of these classes would be good for a beginner. It just depends on what kind of fighting style do you want. Do you want to be more like on the front lines, getting like super up in the action, kind of like dealing heavy blows, or do you want to be more in the background, like kind of if there's a big fight going on, would you rather kind of be able to hide and still like do long range attacks, or would you like to get up close and kind of really like get in there, super agile, or are you more of like the sneaky type? Would you rather be the one that's kind of like, as everyone's fighting, you're going to try to sneak around and like pick locks and like find different ways to go around? What's your ideal like character?
I think I might like the sneaky type.
Okay. If you do a sneaky type, I always recommend rogue. Those are my favorite. I'll go here for the classes so you can see a rogue, but they're basically like the stealth masters. I prefer rogue assassins just because I like assassins, but you don't have to be an assassin with a rogue. There's different types, but I can pull up this so you can see rogue details. So basically, rogues are going to be like, their wisdom is going to typically be higher. They're going to have a lot more dexterity. When you build out character sheets, you have... Oh, hello. Sorry, did not mean to do that. When you build out character sheets, you're going to have these main boxes right here that say strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Think of those as kind of your main, like, those are your main stat blocks. So if you're ever playing in a game, your DM is going to say, like, for example, since you're interested in looking at a rogue and being more stealthy, there might be a chance where you come up in a room and there's a treasure chest on the floor and you have to pick the lock. And you don't know if it's going to be a trap, or you just kind of want to like feel out the space. Typically, your DM will tell you to roll for investigation. And so you would roll your dice. depending on what number you put here. We'll get into the stat blocks a little bit later, but basically when you roll, you probably want to make your character higher in but an investigation, since you're going to be more stealthy, sneaky around, and you want a better chance of finding where things are at, if that makes sense. So like for example, if you're a rogue, intelligence is probably going to be like where a lot of your stats would go to, and it'd be like intelligence, dexterity, rather than like strength or charisma, let's say. So a bard is typically used as like a distraction. Think of it as like a personality character. So like bards are super outgoing. They have a lot of like flashy spells, things to distract, things to kind of like also boost charisma within the team. So they're going to have their like performance up. So a lot of their points are probably going to go into charisma rather than intelligence, maybe. Or if you're kind of like a super tanky character, like mainly a fighter, you're gonna want to put more of your points in strength rather than wisdom, if that makes sense. Because when you're in a battle, your DM is gonna ask you to like roll for athletics or roll for acrobatics, sleight of hand, and depending on whatever number you have there, if you roll over and under, that's going to determine the outcome of how the game goes. That was kind of like a little bit confusing, I know, but we'll take it bit by bit. I'm just trying to give you guys like an overview of kind of what to look for when you're building your character. So for example, Quan, you said you wanted more of a sneaky character. So just keep in mind that if you pick rogue, when we kind of flush out all of these stats, you're going to want to keep in mind that, maybe like dexterity and intelligence because of like investigation or like sleight of hand or stealth, like you want to mainly make these higher.
So I can just assign numbers to those skills. Is that right?
Eventually, yes. We're not going to get there yet because we got to choose the class, but when you come to assigning, that's the fun part. I love doing that. Like I love building out my character, but I also like it's a little bit of math trying to figure out the numbers. But if you're going to make a roll, we're all going to also start at we're going to start our characters. I'm going to have everyone, if it's okay with all of you guys, start at level 5. Because we're going to be running one-shots every Tuesday for the first couple of Tabletop Tuesdays. Like I said, one-shots are the one session, so typically you want a higher level character to do one-shots. That way you can kind of have more fun with it. You're able to have more spells under your belt. You're just a stronger character, and it makes the battles more fun. If we're doing a whole campaign, which is the same adventure or storyline over the course of a period of time, then I'm going to have you guys start at level 1, and as you guys like go through the story, defeat monsters, that's when you'll level up your character. But we can also, you can use these same characters in a campaign as well, and we can just revert them back to level 1 and build them up again. But for now, I'm going to start you guys at level 5 because that's like a good starting off point. So for Rogue, when you start off at level 5, you get a +3 proficiency bonus, and then you also get Cunning Strike and Uncanny Dodge. So those come into play when, for example, like you're fighting a dragon, let's say, and you kind of used all of your movement on going up close, trying to like go in the dragon's blind spot, but it hits you with like a swing of its tail because you were behind it in its blind spot. You can roll Uncanny Dodge as like a bonus action, and so that means you get an extra action on top of what you've already done, and you're able to evade really fast. So hopefully the tail doesn't hit you. There's still a chance that it will. We leave it up to the dice gods. But we'll get into playing later. I'm getting ahead of myself. I feel like I'm just confusing you guys more. I'm going to actually pick my character along with yours, Quan, so I can kind of show you, because I realized that I can't really see what screen you're on, and if you want to do Rogue, I can walk through you with this. What kind of character were you thinking of making, Tripping Possum?
I'm torn between a wizard or a monk.
Ooh, ooh, that's a good one. One of my friends in my old campaign, he played as a monk, but he had a monk with amnesia. So he was like he was like a super religious monk, but he just couldn't remember why or who like what religion he was a part of, and he just like everything he would lose his memory like every other round, and it was really funny. But that was his backstory. We don't know why. He just wanted to make him like an amnesic monk for some odd reason. But I can roll over these just so everyone who's watching can also see the difference between a wizard and a monk. I think monk is right here. I've actually never played as a monk before, so I don't know too much about monks, but I do know a lot about wizards. So it looks like their primary abilities are dexterity and wisdom. Um, is there like a main? So I see that you're wanting to focus more on like a magic like spiritual user. Uh, is there what are you stuck between deciding a monk or a wizard? Like what's kind of causing you to teeter?
Oh well, I have somewhat. I'm towards somewhat between like a very stealthy, um, like way of shadow monk, but I don't want to step on toes. So I might go for like kind of a cute bumbling um, divinations wizard. If you as a DM don't mind that this will cause me to interfere with your rolls every now and again through the divination ability.
I love that those are two completely different character archetypes. Like you have super stealthy, secretive, and then you have like extremely bubbly. I'm letting you know that as a DM, I love like people when they create characters to kind of utilize their full personality. So even if that means like messing up roles every now and then, like the point of a DM is that your plans are going to get fumbled. I'll go over that more in the for those of you listening, I'll go over that more in the DM like workshop. How frustrating it's not frustrating, but it's just like a running inside joke between DMs that like you can spend hours planning a session and nothing's going to go the way you planned it just because your party will always find a way to change your plans or mess something up. So that's more on you as a DM. I don't mind. I would love to see whatever character you would love to embody more and whatever you think you're going to have more fun playing. Um, and then a little description on that for Quan. So when you like create a character, like he was saying that his wizard was going to be super like bubbly. You have the power to kind of take your personality into the game and interfere with like a DM, if that makes sense. Like if you have a super like airheaded character, you can kind of find a way to be like, oh, I don't remember doing this. Like let me trip up and kind of turn the game into your own viewpoint. That makes sense. I feel like I'm very bad at explaining.
No, that makes sense. That sounds very interesting.
And it's fun because I also like working with that with like working with people who have like super fleshed out intricate characters even if it's not like a typical character. For example, like the monk with amnesia, we had to remember that like every other round whatever he just remembered would absolutely be forgotten, and there was a time where he was locked and like he got separated from the group and was supposed to collect super important data and got it all and then was going to report back to us and then forgot it all. So stuff like that where it's like frustrating but so silly at the same time.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so fun.
Um,
So yeah.
just what method are you choosing to distribute points or generate the stats for?
I was gonna use the method of the dice gods. But that was for my own character to be fun. Whenever I make characters all in the past, my DMs have always let us distribute the points as even as possible, as long as they add up to, I believe it was, I want to say 36. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up again. But for the character sheet that I will be kind of demonstrating and displaying, sorry, it's 27, not 26. I was close. 27 points. I will be using just I will be rolling my own dice for just funsies, just because I'm making a character sheet for everyone to see. But for you guys, you're gonna have 27 points to allocate between all of these, and then from there we will increase depending on what level you are. If you get like 3 added points, so for Quan, because I know that you're super beginner to all of this, so what that means is between strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, you will have 27 points to distribute between all of these. So for example, like you can, if you're like a super strong character and you want to be like a super tanky character, like let's say you chose a fighter, you probably would want to be super strong, so you put like 15 points just into strength, but then that only leads 12 points to distribute between the other categories. So you can be super strong, but then you probably won't put anything towards wisdom, because if you're going to be a strong character, you might not need to be like a smart character. That makes sense, but you can also balance that out however you want. Let me actually get into this, and like we'll build this character out, so I'm not just confusing you. But if you want to be more stealthy, I recommend choosing a rogue Quan. It's also a really good baseline beginner character. My first character that I made was a tabaxi rogue, and a tabaxi is like a cat person. So they were super athletic, night vision, and it just went really well with the rogue archetype. But for me, let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. I'm going to take out a dice, and we're going to figure out what gets rolled. I don't think, let's see. That's
Wait,
a
can
50.
you stream your dice? I want to see your dice.
Yes, I can. Here, let me see if I can do this on my phone. That way I can give you guys like a clear view of the table. I gotta find the right-sided die. I have an entire dice bag just of like random ass dice. Let me do this so you guys can I do 2 streams at once, or will Discord hate me? I guess we'll find out. Also, while I'm here, I'll go through the different types of dice. Let me switch. Hello? Can you guys see me?
Um,
Can you?
no,
Sorry.
Not yet.
not
Switch
yet. Yeah.
so I could give you guys a better angle. Let me.
Oh,
Oh yes.
Hold
Getting your camera.
Okay. Let me. Doop. Okay.
nice.
So here's my pile of dice. There's so
Wow.
many. Here's an unopened bag that I recently got. It was just like gifted to me, so you can see. This is what a typical full set of dice looks like. So we're gonna make some room here. You have your D20, and then let me put these out in order. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me open this out. I haven't opened this yet, so the nice rustling of a bag. We love that. Okay. So we have D20, which is going to be your end all be all. This is going to be the main dice that you use to roll. I have a giant D20 as well. This is my god tier dice. Whenever I need, this is like what I use for DMing when I want to like smite someone. I roll the big one. But this is D20, so this is the typical dice that you're going to use when you're using your stat blocks. or when you're making your stat blocks, you're going to be using a d20. If your DM ever tells you to like roll a constitution, roll a saving throw, roll for wisdom, any of those, like you're going to roll a d20. And then you have your 10-sided dice. No, sorry. This is in tens. And then you have your typical like 6-sided dice. Did I say 14 for the character? Yeah, we might roll this and then I'm gonna put this one off to the side because we might roll this for my character sheet to decide. And then let's see, this is 12. So it kind of looks very similar to a d20, but just the sides are smaller. And then this is 4. So whatever like it lands up, whether that's like 3, this is your 4-sided dice. If you ever get injured and you need to like roll for health, typically it'll say like a D3, a D4, whatever on your character sheet, but that's how you know, like if it says like D4, this is always you rolled this for health. So if it says like 2D4, then you're gonna roll two of these types of dice, and like that would be your health stat. So health is usually D4. I also have a little container of health dice, but I do not have them in this bag. And then this is just a different shape. Just so if you guys ever get dice and you don't, like, they come in different shapes, but this is the same thing as those triangles. It's also a D4. So that's 6. And then this is 8. No. Yeah. 8-sided dice. And here is... I'm doing this so wrong. Hold on. This is 10. Is this... This was an extra dice. This isn't supposed to be in here. Ignore me for that one. This one came with an extra one. But this is going to be like your main dice lineup. I don't really like green that much, but for the character sheet, I'm going to be rolling Big Boy. Although there's only 14 choices, so if I roll anything above a 14, we're just going to keep rolling until I get a 14 or less, and whatever that lands on, we're clicking that for the character sheet. Does that sound good with everyone?
Yeah, that sounds so
Okay.
good.
We're gonna leave this up to the dice gods. Also, I'm sorry if this like might roll off the table. Let's see what we're gonna do. Oh, that was loud. Oh wow, that is a critical fail. If you ever, so there's two critical hits. So there's critical fail, which basically means if you ever roll a 1, this is bad. This is very bad if you're ever playing a game and you're like, oh, I want to make a killing throw. Something, you roll a 1, your DM's basically like, you failed. Like there's no coming back from this. You're done. You're done for. That's literally a critical fail. Like you crit. And then if you roll a 20, which is the lion on this side, that is a nat 20. So imagine if I rolled, that would be crazy if I rolled a nat 20. But this is like the best thing that you can get. Pretty much if you roll a nat 20, you can do whatever you want. Like if you're playing a game and you're like, you know what? I want to do like 3 backflips into a river and then find a pile of gold and get super rich. Your DM's gonna be like, roll for it. And if you roll a nat 20, you're gonna do it. Anything's possible. You basically just become God if you roll a nat 20. But I critically failed. That is okay though, because that means I'm gonna switch back. I'm gonna share my screen. I wish I could do this from 2 accounts so I don't have to keep going back and forth. But that means our character is a barbarian. I've never played with a barbarian before, so this is exciting. So we're gonna read the details on this one. Let's see. If it loads. See, they rolled a 1 on our API. That's fun. Everyone critical fails today. I literally rolled a 1 and my character sheet is not loading, so that's so good.
Oh, no.
I get enamored defense, weapon mastery, danger sense. Let's see, where's 5? Ooh, we get an extra attack at level 5. Okay, this is good. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here and actually XP. Perfect. Okay, now we're gonna go here and we are gonna do I also named my character Fifi. This is open for suggestions if any of you guys think we should change names. But I'm going to add Barbarian. And we're going to change level 5 because, like I said, we're going to start off with one-shots. So we want our characters to be a little leveled up just so they have some power with them. I'm going to level up. Yay. Okay. So my max hit points, 40, because barbarians are super tanky and they're not squishy. So tanky means super durable, strong, like if they can take a punch, they can take some hits. Squishy characters are typically going to be like your healers or like your wizards where they're super powerful with spells and long distance, but like if you punch them, they're not going to last very long. So when you hear someone refer to their character as squishy, that just means that they're not weak, like they're physically weak. They can't take a hit, but barbarians are typically tankier. So this is 40 hit points. That also means, so 5d12 is just like, whenever you see this, the D is the dice, the number, which is the 12, is the like dice that you use. So I would use a 12-sided dice, and I would roll 5 of those, if that makes sense. So whenever you see this, you're going to see this on your character sheet, like damage points, attack, you're going to see like 2d12, 1d6, and that just lets you know how many rolls of that specific dice that you're going to roll. So we're going to do the class features of barbarian traits. And we get a skill proficiency. All right, chat, if you guys are here, I see many of you lurking. What skill proficiency should I use? Athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, survival, animal handling?
Survival is often really good, but intimidation is classic.
I was about to say, I was like, intimidation is a classic with a barbarian, but survival, because you never know. I feel like whenever, it's also fun. Think about how you play, like how you are as a player. Quan, this also goes for you because you want like a stealthy character. Like typically, if you're thinking like a rogue, you would think athletics because that means that they can like sneak through certain areas, do fun things, if that makes sense. Can you guys hear me? Did something happen? No, I'm still here. But for me, I like to kind of, how do I say, make my DM annoyed. And so sometimes like I'll be in a battle and I look at my character sheet and I know that, oh, I actually like maxed out survival and I have an 18 in survival. So that means if I roll like an 18, I can pretty much live, if that makes sense. Like, so for me as a player in my mind, I would go to my DM and be like, oh, I'm fighting this person. Instead of giving you a strength check or an acrobatics check, can I give you a survival check for this battle? And then I'll roll for survival. So it just depends on how you want to play and how you want to do it. I think I'm going to go with survival because, like you said, it's not classic, but at the same time, like it's so versatile that it can be used not just like in a fighting experience, it can also be used kind of on any terrain. And I get another proficiency. So I think, should I go with classics, guys? I think I'm going to go with classics. We got rage. So rage, extraordinary might and resilience. Oh, it's a bonus action. Interesting. A bonus action is basically like a free move. So you get a certain amount of actions. Every character is different. Sometimes you can get 1 action, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, depending on your character and level. Bonus actions just means that it doesn't take up one of your action rolls. So movement is typically an action, and most characters can move 30 feet, like speed. And so that just means that you can move up to 30 feet per round unless you have like a super slow character. I think barbarians are slower, so their speed's probably not like that. I know rogue is the typical baseline is 30 because they're faster characters. But movement is one of them. And then if you want to, like usually you get two you get 2 actions. So it's like a fighting and a movement. And if you don't need to move and you can just like do it there, then you can use like 2 fighting actions. But a bonus action doesn't take up any of that. So it's just like a free move basically. Let's
Got
see.
it.
What was that?
No, I say got it.
Okay. If you have any questions as I'm going through this, because you guys can create yours on your own. Like this is just beginning, and then once like your character kind of baseline is out, we can create a backstory and create a personality and do really fun things with your character. Weapon mastery. Oh my god. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna roll. Give me a number between. How many d20s do I have? How many options are here? That's the real question. Okay, there's way more than 20. Give me a number between 1 and 3.
2.
2. Okay, I'm gonna roll 2 d20s, and whatever number that lands on. Actually, should I roll? I'll roll 2 d12s. Actually, now that I see this, that way we can add up these numbers and see. I need to find another d12. Where did you go? Here you are. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna try doing this way. Maybe I can do 2 screens at once and see if this is like any sort of if this makes it any easier to like see things. Can you guys see the table? All the dice?
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That way I can have both at the same time. So I'm gonna roll both of these. We have Christmas colors. And oh god, that was right here. Is that a 6 or a 9? Did anyone see that? I think it was a 9. I think I got a 9 and a 6. So that is 15. Now I have to go count 15. I gotta lift up my screen again. The dice gods are just not giving me much today, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. A hand axe. Okay. Very typical. I like that. Ooh. Okay. Now we gotta do this again. We got a 5 and a 12. 17. So if this hand axe was 15, where's a hand axe? Actually, no, we're just 1, 2. $17. You hit a creature with a javelin. I have a javelin and a hand axe. This is going to be interesting. We have a barbarian subclass. And then, let's see, primal knowledge. I feel like athletics, because barbarians need to be athletics. You already have frenzy, then 4th level weapon mastery. Oh my goodness. There's so many weapons. You can just hear the crushing of the dice. I got a 5 and a 7. 12. Did I count that right? I'm going to say yes. Great club. This is just a vast difference in weapons. All right. We're going to go just the core rules because I don't want to do the expanded rules since we're doing typical. Let's see. Ability score improvement alert. I feel like Savage Attacker is good for a barbarian. An extra attack and fast movement increases by 10 feet. That's very good. Okay. Amazing. Boink. So now we get to my favorite part. I like class, but my favorite is species. So we're gonna go to the species deck because this just lets you know like how many different creatures there are in D&D. You can be a human if you want to be, or you can be something super funky and spunky. Have you guys picked your class? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow?
I'm following along.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna for a barbarian. We want someone who's like tanky and strong. Oh my god, a bugbear. I'm gonna do something I've never played before. A fairy barbarian. There's Tabaxi. It's like a cat person. Her name was Miki. That was my very first character. You know what?
What's the difference between class and species? Like if
Yeah.
I choose one species, like how will it affect the game?
So the difference is think of class as kind of like your job, you know? So species is just who you are as a person. So it's just like there's just a lot of different characters. So for example, a tabaxi is just like typically quicker, more agile than a turtle. You know, like turtle has um, a lot of better traits. Like they're a little bit slower, but they usually carry more with them. It says down here that they carry shelter on their back, so during short rests and long rests, you probably have like a faster recovery. Where tabaxi, they have sharp claws, which are natural. Oh my god, what did I do? Which are like a natural weapon that you can utilize. Um, they're quicker. So when I made my first character, I've always wanted to have like a chaotic, neutral, stealthy character. And so that's why I chose an assassin rogue. And I decided to go with the tabaxi because typically tabaxi, like a lot of people use half elves as rogues or like shifters. I thought it was cool that tabaxi, like some just natural abilities, like a cat, they have dark vision, so they can see in dark just a lot better, and I feel like that worked well for a stealthy character. They have long, strong claws, and so there's a time where I was fighting and I had a dagger and it broke just in my campaign, and instead of like trying to scramble, I used my claws because it was just that was a part of me and that didn't count as like a weapon carrier. And so I knew like, oh, I could use my claws for different things because you can get creative with this. Like for example, if you want to try to pick a lock and you have a character that like maybe I'm gonna go back to the tabaxi because I love tabaxis. Like the long claw, instead of having a lock picking, like maybe I can try to pick the lock with the claw, and then your DM would have to give you an insight check for that, or have you roll for that. But basically, your species is just who you are, and so you want to pick a species that like speaks out to you, but also one that you know would be better for whatever class you're picking. So, for example, right now I am creating a barbarian. And so, barbarians are typically like, they're tankier characters, they're more frontline battle, like, they're going to be fighters. So, I don't want to pick a little fairy as like a barbarian. I mean, you could. But fairies are more like mana-based magical creatures. They're going to have a natural like stat ability and just nature, animal handling, and that's just not like what I'm kind of going for as a barbarian. Not to say you could definitely do it if you want to create like a funkier character. Like any of those mix-ups are possible. It's just if you want to create, especially if this is your first time playing, you want to kind of max out your character's best traits, if that makes sense. So you want to kind of read the different species, like some, because like some characters are naturally stealthier. They're naturally more agile, and that would be better for a rogue because rogues are stealthier. they have like a higher acrobatic percentage. You're going to be doing a lot of like stealing, picking locks, like sleight of hands, like informational gathering. Like you're not going to be on the front lines fighting. So you want a character that can kind of walk through the shadows and do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So when you're kind of picking your character, you want to look like, maybe it might be easier for like a changeling because you can like disguise yourself, stuff like that. I mean, not to say like you can't do a dragonborn as a rogue because like I said, any mix-up is possible. It's just depending on how you like to play. That's also just how I like to play. I like to kind of match up my character and class together if I think that I can like find a way to extract their best abilities. That's why I picked a tabaxi rogue because, like I said, like just being a cat, they had dark vision, their speed, they were more agile. I just had a better advantage doing that. But that was just my way of looking at it. But I've literally seen like the randomest mix-ups. Like I've seen, like for example, my wizard Bufo, he was a fish person wizard, and he was like the squishiest character ever. He had 0 wisdom, like stupid.
Oh.
He was just such a cutie patootie, and I loved him. And that was like a funny character that I made. So it's literally whatever you feel.
Do you think elf would be good for my character?
Yeah, elves are always. I love elves. There's a lot to them. They're a fun character to play. Let me see if I can find it on here. If I can go. Yep, here's an elf. And I think elf. You also have the ability to speak. I think like 3 languages. Just being an elf, because elves are proficient in Common Tongue. So Common Tongue is basically like typical language. And then there's like Elven. So I think you get those 2 bases, and then I think you can get 1 more as an elf, just because like they're naturally smart characters who have a like good language proficiency. But let me look into that before I just say that. Yeah, see, you have dark vision with a range of 60 feet, which is good because if you're sneaking around, you're typically going to be in the shadows as a rogue. So being able to see in the dark far is good. You have keen senses. You have proficiency in insight, perception, survival. That's great for being a rogue. Those are people's comments. I didn't even know you could comment on this, which is very fun. But when you get to pick what kind of like elf you can be in, this is so exciting. Oh, and you're also going to have some spell slots, which is fun, which is nice. So if you like elf, I say go for it. I feel like that's a good choice for a rogue, and elf is like a good baseline starting character as well. I'm trying to think of what a fun barbarian. I might do like a silly one. What are you thinking of for, did you decide between a wizard or a monk?
Oh, I've decided to go all in on a very silly wizard.
Heck yes. I love that.
And keeping just the stuff from the player's handbook. He's ended up with a dexterity and constitution higher than his ability.
That makes me so happy. I'm very excited to see this in play.
I've gone for a noble background, but he's like the nth child. So there's like nothing coming to him. He's got to go and make a name for himself, but he doesn't quite know how to deal with the real world.
Oh, wait, that's really cute. I love that.
And hopefully whoever is running the one shots he's in will permit the use of prestidigitation to not only clean his clothes but very carefully coif his hair.
Because grooming is so important. He has to groom himself. yourself.
And you don't want to be icky longer than you absolutely have to be.
Exactly.
Because
Oh,
dungeons are icky and there's slime.
so icky. Oh my god, I'm so excited to see what your character looks like. This is so fun. I think I might. This is gonna be. I'm also gonna be a silly character, but I think I'm gonna do a turtle. A turtle barbarian.
I have a hard time seeing a turtle getting angry enough to be a barbarian, so that sounds amazing. They're
I
usually
feel
so slow.
No, because they're slow characters. They're typically like either extremely neutral or like good characters because they don't get angry. They don't show. So I'm gonna see how this goes. Yeah, we're gonna do a turtle. Oh my gosh, why are you doing this to me? Go back. Do. Oh, I forgot to do the background. Okay, let's see. If he's a turtle, should I make him like criminal turtle barbarian? Yeah, we're gonna make him a criminal. He's gonna be. This is just an interesting character, I will say. Let's see. I'm gonna do increase 3 scores. Character details, alignment. Ooh. I feel like turtles are very lawful. But if he's a barbarian, a criminal barbarian, should we do lawful evil? Yeah, we should. For alignments, when you see these, Quan, and for anyone watching, this basically just helps you kind of grasp around the personality of your character more, just so you can kind of like, when it comes to decision making or like actions, you get a better idea of like where your character stands. This doesn't play into like you don't have to roll for any of these, and this won't affect anything on your character sheet. But let's say during a campaign you run into a story where like your party runs into an old lady on the street, and she's like asking for directions. Like a chaotic evil person would be like, let's knock her cane over and rob her. That's just because your character like has just those intentions. Whereas like a neutral good person would give her directions and then like offer to walk her all the way over there. So that's just helping build the personality backbone of your character. So I'm doing my lawful evil. So my character will be evil, but like still maintains that sense of judgment. Because I feel like turtles are very like they think before they do. That makes sense. Like, even if they're an evil character, he will think like, do I really want to be evil? Yeah, let's be evil. Let's see. I'm gonna put none. Wretched. Actually, you shelter. No, this makes sense because a turtle usually has like their shell is their home and their shelter. So I feel like this is fine. All right, bald skin, dry and scaly, which is the way. Yeah. What color eyes would be fun? Someone give me a color.
Purple.
Purple. Height. Do we want him to be a tall barbarian?
Yeah, go for the size.
go for the size. Let's see. Hold on. I'm gonna look up. Ooh, hello. I don't know how tall they normally are. For 1 hour, their natural armor. Do. Size medium or small? Interesting. Okay. So they're not a tall character. I thought they were. How much does an average turtle weigh? Oh, they have claws too. That's cool. I'm excited. I've never played with the turtle before. He looks like a scrawny, like this is like Master Oogway. That's the vibes I'm getting from here. I don't know if anyone's a Kung Fu Panda fan.
It's been a while, but I did greatly enjoy it.
We're gonna do 45 pounds. He's just a guy. He's a little guy. 180. I'm feeling like an old barbarian tortoise. Personality traits. Ooh. He's gonna be a calm barbarian, and he's gonna have trouble raging. So he needs to like get there. Let's see. What are some fun ideas? Like creating a character online is good to like show you guys, but I still prefer physical sheets because I think it's more fun to like actually write out a story and you can draw your character. So for those of you watching, if you ever want to fill out a character sheet, I recommend printing one and doing it because I think it's more personable. But let's see. Ooh, I cannot type today. What drives and motivates your character? I'm gonna think. Those aren't really good ideals, but we're gonna come back to that as I like. In my mind, I imagine this little turtle's village got wiped out and they're like the last ones left to fight, and so that's how he became a barbarian, because he had to learn how to fight and rage. This is like the most random character. This is gonna be interesting. Not gonna do Bond yet because I don't know who's gonna party up. But flaws. Has trouble raging, which is gonna be not good when it comes to fighting. I'm gonna leave those notes for right now. We're gonna go next. So we're gonna Oogway. Oog-away to avoid copyright. So Kung Fu Panda doesn't come after me. Medium, 4 to 8 feet tall. Blink. Alright, I don't know why it's not giving me a turtle. Maybe I can't be a turtle while being a barbarian. Maybe it's not letting me. That would be so sad.
There's nothing I know of in the rules that would prevent you from making any combination you want.
No, I know.
That you don't necessarily own the expansions to make that kind of character. I don't know what the limits are.
I think it's just D&D Beyond where not everything is added on to here. But that's okay. We're going to pretend. I'm just going to go to the next one and I'll figure this out later. But it's going to be a turtle. Actually, speaking of which, that way. Let's see. Look at that beautiful face. We're gonna screenshot that lovely face. Apply. No, did it not load? Ha 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 ha. Beautiful. D&D Beyond can't stop me. I'm making a turtle. So now we're getting to the point guide, like what I said here, where we have 27 points to kind of spread across. I'm going to let the dice do mine, but you guys can spread out yours depending on how you want like your player to be. Does that make sense? So we're gonna go through here. Oh, this calculates everything for me, which is very nice. So we're gonna go. I don't know what I should. Stack. Hold on. Choose. Manual rolled. Okay. So let's roll for a strength. Since it's out of 27, I feel like I should use a 12-sided dice for each. No, that's such a bad idea because that's way too much. We'll do a 6-sided dice and see what happens. And then if we have any left over for each category, then I'll roll again and we can add more. So for strength, I'm going to roll. I got a 3. That doesn't seem. We're going to do this better. That was a bad die. I feel like 6 is still too weak. Should I do 12? But then 12, 24. We'll do an 8-sided dice. An 8-sided dice seems like it would be the one that could spread out most evenly. That rolled a 4, which, all right, this is going to be a weak barbarian. This is so unfortunate. Dexterity, a 6. Constitution, a 1. Another crit fail. This is so good. We're doing really great. 3 for intelligence. Another crit fail for wisdom. And then charisma. Another crit fail. Okay, well, I could have rolled a bigger dice because I didn't realize I was going to be rolling so low. Wow. Well, we still have a lot. We still have a lot to.
Usually what you want to do to get the right curve for heroic stats is roll 46 and then drop the lowest one, and the 3 remaining added together should give you a score.
You said 46 and drop the lowest one?
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
That's the classic before point bag became more common.
See, this is my first time rolling for these points. I used to just take 27. My DM would be like, break it up however you feel. And then I would do some math and like moving things around. This seems better. Actually, is this going to compute roll if I do this? Oh my god, it rolled on the screen.
And there you see it's got 46, and it dropped the 1, so you got the 11. Oh you're still having rough luck.
Today is just not my roll day.
Oh dear.
This is just so bad. Like, these are such low rolls. Wow.
That's
Okay, well, this is gonna be our new stream. Like, this is so unfortunate. This is what I get for leaving it up to the dice gods.
Sometimes you are blessed, and other times you are cursed.
Apply ability scores. Wow. That is crazy across the boards. The fact that my wisdom and strength are the same just is so unfortunate. Well, all right. I don't think I get any stacking bonuses. Didn't I get? Hold on. Was it a +3 for level 5 of? I guess not. Actually, hold on. So level 5, fast movement, extra attack, primal knowledge. Yeah, no, okay, I didn't get any extras. I thought I got an extra roll somewhere, but I guess not. No, okay. That is fine. We're gonna go back to abilities. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm curious how you guys spread apart your characters. Did any of you guys leave it up to the dice gods, or did you just take 27 and split them up?
I definitely went with point.
No dice
I
god.
also use the dice, and I'm not sure if this stat is good or not, but it seems pretty fair to me.
Okay, that's good. That's always good. I've just not been rolling today, but that's okay. Let's see. Oh, so let me, for those of you who are listening, I didn't kind of explain. Now that we got to this part, I didn't explain it well. So, let me go to another character sheet that has the better, like. Oh no, please. Okay, well, this is, you can kind of see it more clearly. So for example, like if you have like an 11 in intelligence, actually no, I had 11 in wisdom. I had 11 in wisdom. I would break up those 11 points in this category. So I could do like 5 for saving throw and 5 for animal handling and 1 for insight, and then medicine, perception, and survival would be 0. That's just an example. You can break it up however you want as long as it adds up to whatever number is in this box. So if you're playing a game and you need like overall wisdom, sometimes your DM would say, give me a wisdom check. And that's when you roll a d20. And if it's depending on what, like, if it's overall wisdom, if you, for example, my wisdom was 11, if I rolled like an 11 or above, then I would give them that wisdom check. But if I rolled under an 11, like if I rolled a 7, then I'd be like, sorry, you don't understand what's going on. Like, you're stupid. You know, like your wisdom didn't check out. But if I rolled like a 15 and my wisdom was 11, then like I was able to read. I was able to kind of clearly understand what was going on. But if it's something deeper, like so all of these categories are under wisdom. For example, if I was like trying to gather intel and I stopped at a tavern and there was like a dog that was sitting there, I could use animal handling to have them like sniff out someone's footprints. And so I would roll for animal handling. And whatever roll, I would roll my d20 because these are going to be smaller numbers. So like I said, you're going to break up whatever bigger number is there. So if it was like a 4 for animal handling, which is kind of high for animal handling, but let's say I rolled my dice, I just rolled my d20 and I got a 4, I would add the 4 to whatever number I had on there. So what did I say for animal handling? Like 5? So total, that roll would only end up being 9. And it depends on your DM. Like if it's kind of like if it's just a little sniff thing, typically I would still say, oh, like you were able to pet the dog like sniffed whatever clothing item you handed it, and it looked nice, but it didn't feel inclined to get up. But let's say I rolled an 11 and I added that 11 to the 5 that I already had under animal handling, for a total of 16. Then I would say, oh, that dog got up, it like licked your hand, it seemed very inclined to want to help you, it sniffed whatever clothing item you had, and it pointed you in the right direction. If that makes sense. I can do another example where it's like for charisma, let's say my overall charisma was 14. So between 14, I would split up 14 in here. So I could literally put 14 under saving throw and the rest of these would be 0, or I could split it up evenly, or I could do like 7 under like persuasion and deception. So for Quan, since you're a rogue, charisma is important because you're going to be using persuasion a lot, and probably deception because you're going to want to like, you're stealthy, you might want to steal things depending on who you are. So I would put like 7 under deception, maybe 3 under persuasion, and then kind of split up the 4 as like one for saving throw, like 2 for intimidation, stuff like that. So you could go like to the enemy and you were trying to kind of convince them that you weren't there to steal anything. Then I would say roll for deception to try to like deceive that person. And if you had like a 7 under deception, I just rolled a d20, I got a 19, it'd be like, yeah, they had no clue that you were deceiving them, you were able to get away with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of how you break up these and how you're able to roll them. So you definitely want to take your character into consideration. That's why I like these laid out better, like I said, because it's hard to kind of see the full picture under the character sheet that I've been like working off of. But for example, since I'm a barbarian, my strength was 11. So I'm probably going to put like all of that into athletics, and then I got an 11 in wisdom. So I'm probably going to put like 10 of the 11 in survival, and then 1 maybe in animal handling since I'm a turtle. And that's probably how I would like switch things up, because I don't really need wisdom as a barbarian. Like I would rather have my character more tanky than smart. That's just my preference. But that's just kind of how I would like move things and separate things. But I forgot to get into that as we were building that. So that's that. And then next we're going to choose equipment and gear. So this is just what's going to be like kept on your character at all time, what you're going to use. So let's see, great axe, hand axe, explorer pack. I would rather take that than 75 gold pieces. So whenever you see GP, you're going to see like GP, CP, SP. GP is gold, SP is silver pieces, and CP would be like copper pieces. So that's just their money system. So like gold is the equivalent of gold, like silver. Think of like copper pieces as our loose change, like in USD kind of reference. Copper would be like just the loose coins that you have in your pocket. Silver would probably be dollar bills, and then gold would still be the equivalent to our gold. So a lot of times if you're going to go shopping or like go into the city, like a glass of beer at a tavern would probably cost you like 3 copper pieces, to put in perspective of like the money. But I would rather take an explorer's pack because I can use this, for example, like 2 flasks of oil. One of my old campaigns, this was when I was a tabaxi, we fought an owl bear, and it was like a rabid owl bear in the middle of It was the rabid owlbear in the middle of the city, but it kind of like came abruptly because whoever we were fighting at the very end, like managed to make it appear because they were a sorcerer. So none of us had any of our packs because we left it over at the hotel that we were staying at, like the inn that we were staying at across the street, and we were just at the like tavern trying to grab some intel. Thankfully, I had an explorer's pack on me, so I was able to like use my smarts and creativity. I jumped on the back of the owl bear's back, took the like jar, whatever alcohol I was drinking, and poured it on top of the owlbear. And then I had a set of matches in my explorer pack, and I set the owlbear on fire because I didn't have any weapons. So I kind of used what I had to me. So like, just keep that in mind when you're kind of building your character. Like, you want to be able to look what you have and utilize any equipment that you can. So like rations, ropes, like oil. There's torches. A lot of that's useful. And then criminal starting case, I'm going to do this. All right. Add starting equipment. Please load. D&D Beyond. 27 pounds. That backpack, my inventory weighs over like half of me. That is wonderful. Cool. I only have 31 gold pieces. I am a broke turtle. Okay. It says, oh, it's incomplete. It's because it's not letting me pick the... Well, all right, I'm going to have to pick one of these species. I'm just so sad that it's not letting me pick a tortoise, but it's fine. We're going to have to change it and just pretend that it's a turtle. What's the closest thing to a turtle? Maybe a dragonborn is not close, but... I'll do a dragonborn. Why not? Confirm. Yay, okay. What's next? We're gonna view the character sheet. Quan, did you finish yours? Did you use like D&D Beyond, or did you do a printout or a different site?
I used D&D Beyond.
Can I see your character sheet?
Yeah, let me see how to share that. I have 8 gold point in my backpack. Is
Ooh.
that broke or am I rich? I think I'm broke.
Okay, well, gold pieces is still the highest like category besides so you're not like rich, but you're good. Like you can break it down. I would say if you only had like 8 silver pieces, I would be slightly worried. But also when you're fine. Because you can find gold pieces. Like you typically won't need it right away. That's only if your like weapons get damaged, or you want to buy like new armor, or you get a chance to actually shop. Like sometimes if you go into a city, you're gonna find like places to buy potions, new weapons, stuff like that. But there's also like, you're a rogue, so if you're in a big crowd, you can easily like tell your DM, oh, we just got into the city, I like accidentally bumped into 3 people and pickpocket them, and then I'm gonna have you roll for a sleight of hand, and depending on how high you roll, I'll be like, oh, you stole their entire wallet, or you found like a moldy piece of candy in their pocket, depending on how you roll. And so that's like that's probably my favorite thing about being a rogue, and I keep going back to those characters because I like stealing. And so I'm like, ooh, pickpocket every chance I get. If I go into a store, I'm gonna try to like shove what I can and not buy anything. So I like typically I would bump up my sleight of hand, my persuasion, and then also my deception. Like those are probably my 3 big ones for being a rogue. But you're also going to see like these +1, +0, Constitution +1. So like let's say, and these are all of your saving throws. So let's say I like give me a strength roll, and you take whatever number you roll on a d20, add 12, and then add the 1 as like an extra, because as you get stronger and as you level up, you'll add more. Like this is always your baseline, but you're always going to add more to these, and these are going to keep increasing. Oh my god, that speed is so low. That's okay. So, like, for athletics, for deception, that is -1. So that means if I, like, try to do deception, I have to subtract 1 from whatever number I roll. And so these are all of your saving throws. Typically, you won't need this, like, unless you're in trouble. And saving throws are typically what you would use, like dexterity saving throws. If you're dead or like you got hit, and you're in the battle and your hit points, you have like 1 hit point left, I would tell you to roll a dexterity saving throw. And depending on your character, it's different, but typically you get 3 chances to like make a saving throw. And if you don't make any of those saving throws, then your character is like gone. You're dead. If that happens, typically, depending on the campaign, I've had some dead characters make a new character and come back, or they play the part of like I give them one of the villains like characters, and they can just play on behalf of like one of the people that you're fighting, stuff like that. But we're not going to go to that yet because I don't think anyone's going to die. At least I hope not. There's only been one shot that I've made where my entire intention was to wipe out my party. And I wiped out everyone but 2 people, so I was doing pretty good with that. But yeah, this is my character sheet. We left this up to the dice gods, and this is what I got. Oogway. Okay. Did you have any questions on your character sheet? Did you have any like overall D&D questions? I know that this was like a character building one, and next week's going to be more DM if anyone who's listening is interested in becoming a DM. Otherwise, we're going to actually start running one-shots, and you guys can bring your own characters if you need help if you weren't able to make it today, and jump in the character creation. You can make it on the side. You can ask me any questions, and then I probably won't be playing with Oogway because I think I'm going to be DMing at least one of the one-shots. But if I end up playing and not DMing in some of these, then I'll break out Oogway. Or maybe Bufo, because I miss him. He was a fun wizard. But did you have any questions on your character, on what an elf or like a rogue, on any spell slots that you may have had?
I don't for now. I'm still trying to follow, like, understand all these skills. I'll probably have to read more, but this sounds very interesting.
Yeah, I know it looks like a lot right on paper, but trust me, a lot of these you won't need to know unless you're like once you start playing. Because a lot of times like your DM will tell you what to do. So all you have to do is follow the storyline, and like if you want to decide, oh, I want to attack this person, oh, I want to ask them a question, then your DM will be like, okay, roll for athletics, roll for deception, roll for history. So you don't have to memorize any of this. You can and be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna roll a d20. And like even if you have questions as we're playing, if you're like, wait, which one's dexterity, like what does a saving throw mean, like mid game, then we'll stop, we'll help you. Trust me, it took me so long to actually understand. Like even now I still get confused. I'm still like new to DMing, so I'm not super and like well off versed in a lot of these different species and a lot of these different characters. So but I hope your rogue goes well. Did you come up with a name?
Yeah, I call her Mira.
Oh, that's so pretty. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because
What
I
I
know she's a pretty elf.
Oh,
But she's also dangerous in some way.
I love that. What I used to do if I didn't have a printable, because when I printed out my character sheets, I would hand draw my character just like however I wanted them. But for my like virtual one shots, I would just go to like a character generator and type in like, oh, she has like red hair, green hair, like blue eyes, she's tall, she has like these kinds of clothes, and then I would just have it generate a character that I could just use online just because I won't have like a hand drawn character sheet in front of me. So when we play, if you want to like, you can draw it. I know you're pretty good at art and like design. So if you want to design your own character, feel free. If not, for any of those watching, you're more than welcome to like take a Google image or just like find your own photo. I had a Pokemon. I did a Pokemon D&D. That was actually my first D&D campaign. Was a Pokemon D&D campaign. and my Pokemon trainer, she was like a 5-year-old ice climber. And so I don't know if anyone plays Super Smash Bros, but I literally took the photo of the 2 ice climbers in there and used them as my profile photo for the longest time. But that was fun. I had an entire spreadsheet with her. My starting Pokemon was a Shuckle, and then I had it was a Shuckle, a Wooper, and eventually I got a Litten, and I was able to evolve my Litten into an Incineroar. But my other 2, I just kind of, my Shuckle and my Wooper did not get evolved. But I was managed to evolve my Litten into an Incineroar. But that was also a fun campaign. So as we play, for those of you watching, if you guys like the typical 5e one-shots and want to try something else, I can do some themed one-shots. Like I was saying, One Piece, Cyberpunk, even bring back Pokemon if you want to become a Pokemon trainer and make your own trainer. That one's also super fun. So we can do that eventually down the line. Put in either the Discord, over on Twitch, or over on our platform any sort of suggestions that you guys want for future tabletop and D&D games. But otherwise, thank you for listening. I hope anyone who was able to follow along at home enjoyed.
Thank you so much, Sheridan. This is so fun.
I'm glad, and hopefully we can see a lot of these character sheets during our play. And if you missed this, do not worry. If you have old characters that you guys want to bring back during our campaigns, feel free. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope I was able to kind of give you a little insight on D&D, like beginnings, characters. Hopefully, if anyone's also interested in DMing, we have a Dungeon Masters workshop next week. So if anyone's interested in becoming a Dungeon Master, please join in, because you can also get a chance to host if you want to run your own campaign or even run your own one-shot. This is a great opportunity to learn how, and then you can play along with us, and it would be so exciting. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great evening, and, hit those nat 20s. Roll hard.
Thank you, Sheridan. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.